Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend so far. Hello, Davey. Happy Easter to you too. Yeah, I see the correction now. Happy Easter. Hello, George. Happy Easter to you as well. Everybody else who's tuning in. Thank you for coming to attend this live stream live. For everybody who can, I completely understand if you can't and you are catching it on the replay and doing your preparation a little later. Uh, I'm just sitting here with the 5 rescue dogs because the wife is down in Florida. So, looking for a potential new place to live. So, we shall see. How is everyone doing? I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. We had a Friday off from the markets, low liquidity Thursday, and the markets got pushed around. So this is going to be very telling in the next couple days. And we'll get into that in a minute. But if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term subscribers and viewers, please like the videos and come back and leave some comments if you have the chance. And people not just watching on YouTube, but other platforms like ShareVision, I completely value you tuning in. If you're watching on Facebook or on Twitter, thank you so much. Really appreciate all the viewers and spending some time to go over the markets with me. Speaking of looking for a new place to live and housing, look, on Monday we have the housing market index. Oh, geez, more Fed speak. More Fed speak. Then Tuesday, more housing starts, building permits, more Fed speak. Wednesday, mortgage applications. So this is like housing week, okay? Existing home sales, more Fed speak. It's either the Fed speaking or we have housing data coming out. Remember, Wednesday is also all the crude data with, especially there. Wednesday also at 1 p.m. Central, we have Fed Beige Book. Could be slightly market moving. Thursday, we have jobless claims, Philly manufacturing index, which will be interesting. And Powell speaking. Oh, boy. And more Powell speaking. I'm getting worn out. And then PMI, the composite PMI, manufacturing and services PMI, will also be interesting on Friday. So busy week with that. You can see we took a look at this on Friday afternoon. Big sell-offs in the mega caps and a lot of tech just got beat up. And I said it was super low liquidity, even shocking to me. I thought it might be a little lower, but that was really, the markets were just getting pushed around. And remember, we are in negative gamma, so that selling got amplified because the hedging that has to take place sells into declines. It also buys into rallies. So if we get a snapback rally tomorrow, it could be amplified to the upside. FOMC, 91%. Don't really need to talk about that. Earnings, big week of earnings. Tomorrow before the open, Bank of America and Schwab will paying close attention to that. After the close, you got some more banks coming out. Tuesday's interesting. We got Halliburton. We got Johnson & Johnson, especially for the healthcare plays. By the way, I did put up the sector review a little while ago. If you have not had a chance to watch it yet, please check that out so you'll know what I'm thinking based off the sectors, what I'm watching for pullbacks in, what is in sell mode, what is in buy mode. That will help fine-tune your stock picks potentially. Netflix after the close on Tuesday. Of course, Interactive Brokers, one of my brokers. Pay attention to that. Wednesday, before the open, definitely going to look at P&G for especially inflation-related things. What else do we have? Again, more banks. But after the close, Tesla, of course, on 420. Oh, I don't think that was random, do you? Alcoa will be interesting again for inflation-related stuff and metal stuff and aluminum and everything else. CSX for transportation will be interesting. American Airlines before they open on Thursday, definitely going to pay attention to that. Dow Chemical, definitely going to look at that. AT&T will glance at. I am strong sell in communications, and we've rolled over again. After the close, we have Snap. And let's see. We'll check in Boston Bear. I've done that play a couple times. Then Friday before the open, Verizon again very bearish on communication, so we'll see how that plays out. Hca Healthcare still bullish on healthcare even with this pullback. American Express will be interesting, especially as related to the consumer. So do not ignore the earnings. There could be some potentially market moving things with that. All right, let's see. Hey, Dan Jett, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you are having a wonderful Sunday. Talked about low liquidity. You see nearly an outside reversal day in the S&P. Was it outside reversal? Let's see. I forget. I didn't look at the markets yesterday. I had too much going on. Low 4384, low 4385. So not an outside reversal day, higher low on Friday, but this is very key. What am I paying attention to? So what am I paying attention to? Hold on one second. Sorry, had to cough. Talking a little fast here. If we continue lower, I'm really watching for the close on Monday to see if we close below 43.75.50. If we do, I'm watching for at least a continued pullback. And the key level, this is from the whole run-up, not the most recent run-up, but the whole run-up is about 4,300. A close below 4,300, I watch for a retest of the lows. We were watching for the bounce. I'm taking Thursday with a grain of salt because we were in negative gamma mode and it was very thin trading. Very thin trading. That's why I'm paying attention to Monday to see if we can get the rally. Also, we're still in oversold. Cycles are still trying to turn up. And if all we could manage was a one-day bounce, that is very weak. But see, remember, even on a little continued pullback, the big line in the sand is this 4,300. Below 4,300 is super, super bearish for me. And I said earlier, we had another major long-term system go into sell mode this week. So that doesn't mean you can't have rallies. It just means longer term, I'm expecting us to break the prior lows from this year. You see this, we have now a quad bottom here. So I'm just going to watch this for either a breakout or breakdown play tomorrow, and we'll take a look at that. Overnight, if we do bounce, 44.27 is key resistance, and your key support is this 43.85. So that's what I'm paying attention to here. Hey, CBAR65, glad to have you here. Now, we do break down below. The 50% run-up is still going to be key, about 43.67. But below that, remember, we're into a clear path. If you look here to the left, we start getting below all these key closes and opens. So we could make a pretty quick run to 43.43, then 43.11, and remember 4,300. This is where I'd start watching for any potential bounce because that close below 4,300 shifts back to drastically bearish mode. So I'm still watching to see if we get a slight bounce. Again, slight bounce for me now does not favor new recent highs. It favors a return to a couple key areas that we can start looking at if we get that bounce. Nasdaq, this was very bearish. Outside reversal day. Very bearish. You see coming up into that rotation zone and then selling off. Again, I'll be watching the same thing. A close on Monday below 13,881 is very key. And the big line in the sand for Nasdaq, 13,814.75. Close below there, not good. Statistically favors a retest of this low area between 13,242 to the most recent lows of 12,942. Doesn't mean you can't get bounces. It just means the bounces shift because statistically it means a retest of this low area and then a possible break. I'd be selling rallies. Again, we're coming into this clear path move. I'm going to be focusing on, you see this key close with this 13,707 harmonic. That's my first area to about 13,678. We break below there to 75% harmonic with the 25% harmonic projection coming in at a cluster around 13,522. Oh boy. So again, quad bottom right here. I'm watching for especially Europe, Asian European session. If we do bounce, 14,092 is the first little. That's the major resistance. Minor resistance, if you're playing along at home overnight, 13,951. So then, and I will be live tomorrow morning. So we will review it, see what happens in the Asian and European sessions, help us fine tune it with tomorrow. But we're still essentially a horizontal channel, either breakout or breakdown. The 4-hour cycles entering low, daily cycles trying to turn up, but we shall see. We shall see what does happen. Again, these moves on Thursday, take them with a grain of salt because of low liquidity, but they aren't positive for the markets. Dow holding up the best of all, only done a 37.5% retracement versus the Nasdaq we just looked at, over the 50% retracement of the run up. Watching this little horizontal channel on a closing basis. Okay, see, we spiked up there on Thursday and then selling back down. So that was not positive, but again, the Dow holding up only off 36 basis points versus the Nasdaq 230 basis points and the Dow 123 basis points. So on any rallies, essentially with this strength, the Dow's one of the first things I look at and to see if there's any Dow components worth watching. Now it came back, you see this short-term support level right here, about 34,360. We break below there, I'll be just targeting the most recent lows around 34,100. Overnight, key resistance area that I am focusing on is about 34,600. So that's really it that I'm watching with the Dow. The major line in the sand, first major line in the sand is about 33,741 if it continues to sell off this week. And then critical for a closing basis is 33,340, 335 actually, 33,335 on a closing basis. Russell is just a mess. You see popping up here, could not get a close above the rotation zone, getting rejected on Thursday and then heading lower. My key support is 1980. And resistance, now my resistance level, the one I'm really focused on, is 2026. So I'm just treating these all as horizontal channel breakouts. DAX, trying to hold this support. As long as it holds above about 14,060, I'll watch for key resistance being 14,300. Above 14,300, I'll target the 50, about 14,486. We start breaking down below about 14,060. Then I'm going back down to 13,900. Crude starting to move up, hitting this 37.5. If we continue higher on Monday, then the next key area I'm really focused on. Again, I can't get long-term bullish because we're in sort of a consolidation pattern, but the next major area I'm focused on, you see, we have a significant level and a harmonic right about 111. So 109.48, 109.50 would be a raised stop level. 111 is the next target area, and that's also right below the 50% retracement of this down move. So there's a lot of resistance up there. That's why it's raising stops and taking partial profits. Above there, my major line in the sand is around still 116.50 area. Close above there puts me back in super bullish mode. Until there, it's minor bullish mode. On a little breakout, you see we had this flag pattern. Let me take this off. Little flag pattern right here, which we broke out of with the rising rotation zone. So now your key support is coming right back in right around 104.20. Gold, we're hitting cycle tops. I'm going to watch for a potential pullback again. First area is 1967, and then if we did pull back below that, the rotation zone is still pretty flat. I would just focus on 1939. If we do break above 1992, remember this is still trading around core position because we're still in choppy mode. 2004, then major areas 2017. Silver, again, trading around a core position. I want to check something with silver. See the 62.5 right here? That's key. If we get a close above there, then I'll be watching gold. I'll shift much more to bullish mode. But my next pullback area is about 25.36. That's what I'm watching with silver. I'm going to take off these levels now since the head and shoulders is pretty much over. Notes, 10-year notes. We had that little double top right here and completing that pattern on Thursday. I'm watching for some support tomorrow about 119.18, then to the most recent lows. What puts me in bullish mode in this at all? You see rejected from the daily rotation zone. So I need a close back about 120.26. We'll have to get some more clarity with the overnight price action in the futures. But if we do break below 119.11, 118.28 is the next key area. Hello, Lauren. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Happy Easter to you, too. Thank you very much. And hey, Josh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, another big earnings week, and I did review that earlier with all the earnings play I was watching. So if you tuned in late, please just go rewatch the first segment, the first little segment of this. With notes also, you see coming out, cycle rotating back up. So this is very interesting. Again, I'm watching for a long-term potential bottom be put in, but I'm not being aggressive from the bullish side, especially with this little rollover play out of the rotation zone. I need it to really prove itself at this point. Dollar index, still watching for a longer-term potential top. We might have a divergence. Cycles are starting to roll over. Key support back to me is 99.28. That's what I want to see, how well that holds with the bottom of the daily rotation zone. If we do break out now from the upside, I got to update these real quick. My next area is essentially 101.08 to 101.15. VIX, why it was sort of interesting with this pretty big sell-off on Thursday. You see here it was up, but not much. Not much in the scheme of things with based off the size of that sell-off. That's why I really want to see again what's happening. And again, if we get a close above 25, I start getting into super bearish mode again based off the VIX. Holding that 62.5. If we do get a close now below about 21, then the markets will be signaling to me statistically that it's a little calmer for the time being. So we might get a short-term rally, and I'll watch for the VIX to return to the 1850 to 19 level. Hey, Eric, thank you for being here. Again, happy Easter. We had your mega caps sell off. Again, this is going to be very interesting. Now, this is very sloppy. I will still watch this. If we do get a close in this index about 72.30.64, I will still watch this, but I have to update based off this. It's almost a triple bottom, but I still will watch that for the upside play. But if we do break down below Fridays of about 1680, then that's very bad. If you want to do the same index at home, it's Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon, and Google. Again, mega caps got hit pretty hard. Commodities, besides the review I already did in the sector analysis, still in this is Goldman Sachs Commodity Index. You see, this is pretty much a sideways correction. Remember, we talked about two kinds of corrections, either pullback or sideways. You see, last correction was sideways, move up, sideways, move up. Now, it is still overbought. I will watch now for another potential, at least sideways correction based off this key resistance. So I'm just keeping an eye on their commodities. Might be getting a little toppy. Let's take a look at some of our ratios. Value versus growth. Growth breaking down again. And remember, we closed here below 62.5 and now tested 75. I'm still watching for growth to head lower longer term. Statistically, here's our other measure that's breaking down by these most recent lows and could now go to new lows. So I am definitely focused on longer term is sell growth rallies and continue to buy value, especially with this kind of price move. Mega caps, we got below the 62.5, retesting that level and rolling down. Remember, close below 62.5 favors statistically a push lower to this to this area, so I'm going to watch for mega caps to continue to be sold even on rallies. So do keep that in mind with stuff you are playing, because if we have selling pressure, we can still get bounces in mega caps. Don't get me wrong, but longer term, the pressure is still on growth and mega caps. So if you're trading growth mega caps on sells, on days where there's lots of selling pressure, you can see some pretty decent moves. And if you, again, look, where is it? Where is it? Here we go. If you look just based off of Thursday, look at these, the tech growth mega caps just got destroyed. So just don't try to be a hero if the market's going down and you're seeing stuff like the mega cap tech's going down. Don't try to be a hero and grab falling knives. Tesla, remember, earnings on Wednesday. So keep that in mind. It's pretty much, I'm just playing this as a short-term horizontal channel, either breakout or breakdown play. So that's what I'm watching with Tesla. You can see here, we had a double, but that double's been turned into a horizontal channel. So now it's either above 1022 short-term bullish. See, that's against the rotation zone. Below about 975 bearish. So that's my little stuff I'm watching with that. Let's take a look at some of those other just mega caps. Look at this. This was incredibly bearish on Apple. Outside key reversal day, closing low, the lows on the week. I really start getting bearish though in Apple if we get back below 161 on a closing basis. Until that, I am keeping an eye. If we do get that rally, we do have a potential double bottom. But again, that does not trigger until a trade above 171.27. So just because you have a potential doesn't mean you just rush out and buy something. A potential is just a potential. It's got ways to go before it would trade, and it would have to wipe out this bearish bar on Thursday. Again, very low liquidity, but that's an exceptionally bearish move. What's interesting also, if we do turn around in Apple, I will be watching not only for that double the trigger, but then a gap play to the upside for a short term, then another potential rollover play in Apple. I'm thinking that will be bearish mode longer term. Microsoft, very bearish. Again, breaking down. Right now, just cleaning up a couple of these charts. I try to do things on this platform as much real time as I can. You see here, Microsoft closed below the 62.5 back on the 11th. And is now breaking down. I'm watching for a retest of 275.70 area, then back down to 270, and probably breaking down even bigger than that. Remember, we have this, I'm treating this as a horizontal head and shoulders that already triggered. We had a little bounce relief rally and now rolling over. So longer term, I am bearish on Microsoft and its sell the rally modes. Nvidia, pretty much a critical juncture. If we break below 208.50, not good for Nvidia. That's what I am watching for right there. So there are a couple aggressive buys, but nothing I'm looking at doing unless this market really turns around. Key line, the sand for Nvidia, about 202. You get a close below 202. I'm watching then for a longer term retest of the 200-day moving average, because statistically it favors 145 to 115 move longer term. Doesn't mean you can't have rallies. It means, again, rallies will get sold. What else? Google, we had that double coming up to only the first target on that. And remember, when it can only get to that first target and then rolls over, that's never a good sign. Watching for another potential breakdown play in here also. There's just not a lot of stuff that is very, that's still a potential very sloppy double top. So I'm watching for lower price action in this. And you can see here on the short-term basis, Got that close back below the 62.5 and heading lower back down below that first target and into the second target area. So if that does not find some quick support in here, longer term, I'm watching for a much bigger pullback in there. There's just not, that's why I'm getting more and more hesitant, even if we get some kind of market rally. Again, technology, just please watch the sector overview. But for just a quick little thing, here's your technology. You see here, we got that little pop back below the 62.5 level here. So I'm watching for technology from the sector area to retest. And we are entering another potential long-term sell in that. There's just not a lot of positive stuff out there. So keep that in mind. Still watching, though, for anybody who plays the grains, keeping an eye on them. They could be in for a pause with agriculture, but longer term, I'm still bullish on grains. With that, let's just check in on crypto, which has pretty much been flat. But these doubles they're not technically over yet, but I'd be shocked if they couldn't even get anywhere close to the first target. So I'm getting more and more aggressively bearish on crypto. We could, again, get short-term pops, but short-term pops, unless it can get really above 44,850 on the Bitcoin, is, again, to be sold. And Ethereum, unless it can get back above 33.45, its rallies are to be sold. One thing I wanted to point out, because we got FOMC meetings, or not meetings, speakers this week, thought this was interesting. Member jobs outside of the Fed. Look at this. You got academia and then never outside the Fed. And okay, and you don't want to know what I think of McKinsey. But this is, that's why I think they're sort of clueless and way behind the curve. They've never, I've had multiple jobs out in the real world. But that's, and you got to get an outside perspective to some of this. That's what I didn't even realize this. This was pretty shocking to me. And no job ever outside the Fed. That is scary for their being in touch with longer term stuff. All right, with that, I'm going to keep this one a little shorter. It is Easter. Yeah, never required to meet a payroll. That's exactly right. Never required to deal with real business decisions. I've had to deal with all kinds of stuff. I've had C titles before. Okay? And I've had to deal with that kind of stuff repeatedly. Whether it be payroll, whether it be other things going on in work, whether it be managing long-term and short-term outlooks. All this stuff comes into play, and it's like somebody who's only worked for one company their whole life, and then they're shocked when they leave that company that things can be different somewhere else. It's just, and then you're only in academia or the Fed your whole career. Wow. Thanks, Davey, for that great comment. Again, let's keep it shorter today. I will be back on tomorrow morning. And we will do the review to really prep ourselves for the U.S. trading session. Hope I gave you some numbers if you're going to watch it tonight. Go back, spend time with your family on Easter, and I will chat with everyone tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day. You are very welcome, Eric. Again, thank you for everybody who tuned in live with me. See you all this week. Chat with everybody tomorrow morning. You too, Davey. Have a great, relaxing evening as well. Bye for now.